these are signs that the guy you're dating is not a good guy. And these habits, these driving habits, should probably be a deal breaker. Now, this is interesting. Finding Mr. Right, and you look at, these driving traits, and apparently women have been surveyed. There's been research on this, but this is all part of this new scientific research, and they call it traffic psychology. I mean, this is interesting. So there are actual experts that study traffic psychology, and through this research, it's been determined that if you're a woman, and I don't see it the other way. This is like if you're a woman, these are traits in a guy that if you notice early on while dating that you probably want to consider it a deal breaker. So I don't know why it doesn't go the other way. I don't know why if a guy is dating a woman and the woman has these awful traits, I don't know if it's a two-way street, no pun intended, but listen to this. 11 driving habits that tell you that he's not a good guy. This is kind of interesting. When I saw this, I'm like, you know what?
Makes sense.
I'm actually personally interested in this. And you know what? You know what my mantra has always been on this show?
Transparency?
Well, yes, but that's not what?
Lie.
What are you talking about? No,
I'm just kidding. What is it?
My policy on this show has always been, and it seems to have worked out fairly well. I'm not saying I get it right every time, but I think my batting average is pretty good. In that, if I find something interesting, my barometer has been such that I'm generally right in selecting content for the show. That if I find, now every once in a while I probably have something weird, a little too eclectic, or something like some bug stuck up my butt or something. But for the most part, I think I get the content on this show right, and it's typically if I find something interesting, I think my barometer is good enough that the audience finds it interesting as well.
I feel like I'm the same. And
I saw this yesterday. I'm like, boom. 11 driving habits that will tell you that this guy is not a good dude. Run, don't walk, and it should be a deal breaker.
Habit number 1, drives nude.
I mean,
is it on the list?
No. Number 1 is driving on the sidewalk and making pedestrians run for their lives. No, it's not.
Habit number 2, wields a gun at every traffic signal to get people to hurry up.
That might be a sign.
Fires it into the air.
Well, I think you're getting a little warmer over here. Roxanne's getting warmer. All right, so here we go. It's traffic psychology, and these are signs that the dude is a bad driver, and women, you probably want to just reconsider this whole deal, especially if it's like a first date or if you're early on in the dating experience. So what are the habits that would be a bad driver deal breaker in a relationship? We might even want to take phone calls on this. Folks, as you listen to this, if you want to weigh in, we ought to. What the hell was that?
Sorry, it's me, Louie Anderson. I just sat down to break the chair.
Froggy, you just shook the whole floor with that chair.
Yeah, the chair broke, I think.
All right, so here's the deal. I want to go to phones on this. So listen to these, and then we'll grab some calls. I'll give you the number here in a second. So these are, again, bad driver deal breakers on why women should run away from guys. Number 1, not yield. I'm sorry, I should be laughing at this.
No.
Not yielding to pedestrians in the cross. I'm sorry.
As opposed to running them over?
Hang on a minute. Number 1 is not yielding to pedestrians in the crosswalk.
Yeah, that might be an indication.
What, they're walking across and you're trying to hit them, or you're just trying to swerve around them, leaving like 6 inches. I'm going to teach them.
Some bit.
Teach them to cross the street.
On 9th over here, on MLK, near the Publix as you head toward 275, like right near the Roosevelt, MLK intersection, just before you get there, as you headed to 275, you've got the Publix. You've seen the crosswalk?
Yeah.
There's a crosswalk where the pedestrian can actually push a button and it like flashes and cars are supposed to stop. I've seen people do that. They're halfway across, and there are cars that are still like blasting through.
I'll just go
within feet of the pedestrian. All right. So if the guy does not yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk, That should be a deal breaker. He might think his time is more valuable than the pedestrian, sees himself above the law, and it's illegal in most cases that you need to yield to pedestrians in crosswalks. Number 2 on why you should run away from a guy first or early dates if he drives like this. Number 2 is not giving the right away. There's a higher likelihood that someone who drives a luxury vehicle will act as if they're more important. It's a version of being classist, but on the road, not giving the right of way. So here you have a driving condition where the other car has the right of way, but you won't yield. So you want to make them stop even though they have the right of way. That should be a red flag. That's a flashing red light. That's a warning buzzer going off. Run from this guy. Not a good guy. Not going to be good. All right. Number 3. If they don't wave thank you when another car lets you merge or cut in.
Oh, that's, yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
How about that?
You always have to do that.
You let somebody cut in. You're nice. You're being a respectful driving citizen on the roads of Tampa Bay. And they don't wave.
I'll overwave just to get the point across. I'll stick my hand out the side window, open the sunroof just to make sure they know.
You'll give them your phone number. Yeah.
Call me.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can't tell because of the tinted windows.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's
true.
All right, number 4, pumping on and off the brakes. So not maintaining a constant speed. As a passenger on a date, this is one of the most annoying things to suffer through and a sign that hasn't mastered driving yet. So on, off, brake, accelerator, brake. So just on and off.
Have you ever met anyone who drives like accelerator? They push it down, they lift it up, they push it down. Not back and forth not pumping the brakes.
Yeah, I've had taxi drivers
right?
or Uber drivers do
drive you
that.
crazy.
And it makes you nauseous. And then you want to throw up in the back, but then there's like a $250 Uber throw up charge.
Yeah. It's like they forget that they have to keep their foot on the pedal the whole time.
Do you know what I found out from an Uber driver?
What?
I don't know how this was, a couple of months ago. And I can't remember if we talked about this, but an Uber driver told me that at least here in the Tampa Bay area, there's a designated Uber throw-up cleanup company.
Oh, what a great idea.
So apparently if you're an Uber driver in the Tampa Bay area, and by the way, good morning to, who was Chloe's driver? Was it William?
Oh.
I think it was William. This is a great story. If you missed this. So Chloe was getting an Uber ride to downtown Tampa because she's doing an internship at the courthouse with some judges, and gets picked up by an Uber, and obviously they can see Chloe is her name, and the driver says to Chloe, "Are you MJ's Chloe?" And bingo, it was. And William is a big listener to the program. Hopefully I got the name right. I'm just trying to do it by memory. I think it was William, and apparently William has asked 5 other Chloes if you're MJ's Chloe. That's great. No, but seriously, all kidding aside, I was told that Uber drivers in the Tampa Bay area, they know that there's a certain company you call if a passenger hurls in the back of your Uber. There's like a designated Uber throw-up cleanup company. All right, back to the list here. Bad drivers, women run. Oh, and if you want to weigh in on this, do we have any women listening that have experienced some of these things? Any women listening that were out on dates, first date, second date, or early on, and you walked away because of the guy's driving? Do you have anything to say? Anything interesting? Do you have any similarities to what I'm saying here as far as these deal breakers? 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. That's the number to get in right now. So I'd love to hear from women about guys that you went out on dates with and you said, no, this isn't going to work. The guy's awful. So, or any facet. If I'm not thinking of an angle and you have an angle, call us up. I want to hear from you. 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. Also on the list, distracted driving. So if they're just distracted, they're doing everything but driving and paying attention, that could be a deal breaker. If they don't pull over for emergency vehicle.
All right.
So
I mean, who are these people?
This is funny crap, though. So a guy that you're out on a date with, it might not work out, The guy might be a bad dude if he won't pull over for emergency vehicles or
Screw him.
or funeral processions.
What?
Have you ever seen people like pissed off at a
Get
funeral
into
and,
the-
and
yes.
they're weaving in and out of the funeral procession? I've seen that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is wrong with you? What kind of disrespectful turd are you that, a funeral procession, it could be, dozens and dozens of cars long, and you have an impatient driver, and they're like weaving in and out of the funeral. Come on, what is wrong with you? What else? Someone that deliberately blocks the box. So, in an intersection, you're not supposed to block the box and, hinder traffic flow.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's
Okay.
blocking the box. Stopping on a dime. If somebody,
What?
if you're going, seriously, if you're going out with a guy and every single stop is like,
Like Ace Ventura spinning around.
Neck.
it's just, they're jamming your neck. Froggy's got the right idea.
Yeah, their neck is just whiplash.
They get to a traffic light, and all of a sudden, it's not a slow tapered stop. It's they're jamming you into the windshield. Bad dude. You might not want to date him. You might want to end that.
You ever notice, one of our texters brought up, Kimberly asked about guys with road rage, but you ever meet really, really nice people and then they get that behind the wheel of their car and it's that perceived anonymity and they're like cussing everybody else
Hey,
out.
I remember
And-
before road rage, even before road rage was kind of a thing or it was identified, I remember as a kid when it used to rain after lunch. We had like recess, so we used to have lunch, and then you'd be able to go outside and have some recess time. This was up in Nanuet, New York, at the George W. Miller School, where I went to. And I just remember when we had rainy days, they used to play movies in the gym.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they were the Disney cartoons, where you'd get the big like that splash, and it would like be Mickey's face or Donald Duck's face or Goofy's face. I remember the first time I learned about like road rage. There was a Goofy cartoon from like the 1960s. You ever see that? Where Goofy, it's like, and he's like this normal, friendly guy, but when he gets behind the wheel of the car, he turns into a maniac.
Sounds familiar.
And I think they also used to show that cartoon at like some of the, someone told me this. I never went to one of those driving schools, but when you get tickets and you got to go to driving school to get the points taken off or whatever, I want to say that I used to hear that some of the driving schools would show that old Disney Goofy cartoon of him driving like a maniac and road raging. All right, finally, before I go to phones on this, all right, stopping on a dime, bad sign. California roll at a stop sign. So bad habit, I guess it's called the California roll.
Well, you're eating sushi at the stop sign?
No, they hit a California roll.
What is that? What's a California roll?
It's avocado, fake crab.
I mean,
That's what,
is that like some sort of stop and roll thing?
and folks, if you like a California roll, try to get a California roll with real like back fin crab meat.
All right, just relax.
Yeah. Anyway,
Relax.
so the California roll, not stopping, just kind of rolling through the stop sign. Then not signaling a turn or lane change, constantly just moving lane to lane, not signaling. That's a sign. It's illegal, but it might be, it's a warning sign that the guy's not right for you. And then finally, use of aggressive language or obscene gestures while driving.
Okay, I'm guilty of this. Not the obscene gestures, but I really had to dial it back. I do think I get some of my aggression out when I'm just like, say you're at an intersection, there's no light, and you're waiting for someone to turn so you can make the turn. And like if I'm by myself, I'm like, go, you bleepity bleep. But I don't say it
You're cursing in your head or cursing out loud in your car?
out loud, but they can't see me. They
MJ
can't see
road
me.
raged this morning and he sped around a guy that was going too slow. I saw that.
I didn't speed around. So I'm in front of Froggy. We're coming into the office park, and there's a guy that is essentially idling. Am I wrong?
Oh my God, it was so annoying.
Am I
No,
right?
it was too much. It was so slow.
The guy was going 1 mile an hour.
And he
on the-
turned even slower.
And,
Okay.
And so I just went around him.
And-
I didn't.
And what did you say?
I did not road rage.
Oh,
I know you cursed when you did it.
I guarantee you did that because that's what you. Yes.
I did not road rage. I didn't curse. I just went around him.
You're telling me in your car you didn't go you.
Or what are you this guy
bleep.
doing? Or
No,
something.
I didn't
Something?
say go you bleep stick. I didn't say that.
Well, I do say
And that would be a fudge stick, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I say that stuff
Starving.
all the time, but now that I have children and they're in the car, now I have to change everything. And I'm like, okay, silly pot, go ahead and make your turn, silly pot. I have all these.
What? You call other drivers silly pots, and so instead of getting angry and cursing when your
Yes.
kids are in the car, you call other drivers silly pots.
I do.
See, I curse in front of my kids, and I tell them just don't say these words. I mean,
All right, let's go to phones on this. 800-990-1047. I want to hear from women. And listen, even if this goes back a number of years, I want to hear from women that went out on dates, first date or early on, and the guy was a maniac driver, and he exhibited, let's say, the signs that I just told you about. And I'd like to know, did you walk away? Did you know, was your intuition that, this guy's not a good guy because of bad driving? Did we have listeners that walked away, or did we have listeners that maybe even got married to the guy? All right, any facet, anything in between. If you have an angle on this, I'd love to hear from women right now who have been on dates and the guy is just an awful driver and you're like, nah, that's it. One and done. Or maybe just a couple of dates in and you're like, nah, I can't continue with this guy. Guy's a bad driver. Anyone with a similar story, or if you have any kind of an offshoot, something we're not thinking of, let's go to phones. 800-990-1047. Fire up the phones right now. If you want to remain anonymous, that's fine. 800-990-1047. I think my list is a pretty good prompt because that really covered a lot of good stuff. All right, so ladies, well, I don't know. I guess equal opportunity. Are there guys where the woman drove on the date? I don't know.
that's probably more likely.
Maybe the guy lost his license for 7 DUIs and the woman's driving on the date. I don't know. All right, let's hit phones here. 800-990-1047. I would love to hear from women right now. Or maybe a guy has a story. Hey, maybe maybe guys, you were a terrible driver, and maybe the woman, the girl, didn't want to go out on a second date. Maybe they even told you. All right, 800-990-1047. Let's go to phones. We'll start with Susie in Brooksville. Susie, welcome to the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Hey.
How are you all?
Doing well. So what's your story?
Oh, my God. I was probably 16 or 17, and I met some guy at Clearwater Beach back in the day when it was a meat market down there. And
Yeah, now the meat market's in Hyde Park.
yeah.
That's where Roxanne is 5 days a week. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Susie. Go ahead.
Yeah, I gotcha. So this guy was driving a really hot Trans Am, and I'm a car buff.
Oh, man. Was it like a Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am?
Is it a Hemi?
It was. It was a different color, but it was. And he was long blonde hair. He was like a rock star looking guy.
Wow. Did it have the big Firebird, the big on the hood and everything?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
And,
man.
we all. He says, "Well, I'm going to pick you up." And I said, "Well, a couple of my friends are going to come. We were going to go to some bar in St. Pete, and it was a popular bar at the time. I can't remember the name."
All right, so what happened? Cut to the chase.
Jeez.
Okay, so this guy is drunk when he picks us up.
Oh, my God. Guy's drunk when he...
He's driving like an absolute maniac. And I mean, finally, I said, I got to get out of this car. I told him, stop the car. Me and my girlfriends got out. We had to hitchhike back to Palm Harbor in East Lake where we live. And it was horrible. I mean, this guy was a lunatic. I thought we were going to die every second. We never even made it to the destination. It was just ridiculous.
So you never saw the guy again, right?
No, hell no, man. I was lucky to have my life. We had to hitchhike home. Some couple of guys picked us up and they had a keg in the back of the car.
Oh, my God. A couple of guys. Lucky it wasn't Ted Bundy or something, all right? So,
They had a keg in the car?
wait a minute. So then you get picked up by guys with a keg in the car?
Yeah, they drove us all the way from St. Pete to Palm Harbor.
It's a party.
I'll tell you what, that's a great name for a car. The new Kia Keg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good thinking.
Thanks for the call. So, guy picks her up in a Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am, and he's drunk off his ass. That's terrible. Oh, but wait a sec. Smokey and the Bandit, Trans Am. Gotta do it, folks. Oh, we're gonna do what they say can't be done. We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch no bandit run. All right, thank you. Back to phones. Let's grab Eileen in Clearwater. Hello, Eileen. Welcome to the MJ Morning Show.
Good morning. There's another side to this as well.
Oh.
The men that drive erratically and without any concern for your safety.
Have erectile dysfunction?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It can turn out to be real jerks. I actually was young and dumb and ended up marrying him after he put me on his motorcycle. And we went on 275, and he clocked at, I think, 130 miles an hour with me on the back.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
hot.
Holy hell. But did you like the bad boy type? Were you attracted?
I was 19. He was good looking. So, of course, it was like, oh, my God, he's amazing. Ended up marrying him, and he was an abusive jerk. And that was should have been mine. Yeah.
Wow. How long were you married before you bailed?
3 years.
All right. Well, Eileen, hopefully you found love after that and a non-maniac driving motorcycle guy.
Oh, I did. And I've been happily married for the past 3 decades.
Good for you, Eileen.
Excellent. Thank you. You know, Michelle and I, next summer, Michelle and I will be 3 decades.
Got to make it about yourself.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
What, hold on. Wait,
Got to make it about. We're talking about her and how good she's doing, and me and Michelle. I mean, come on.
Well, because she said, because Michelle and I are celebrating 29 years of marriage.
Really?
Coming up at the end of this month, the 26th. I'll be scuba diving with Julian in the Cayman Islands. I won't be around for my anniversary. Sorry, Michelle.
I'll be celebrating 2.9 months.
Hey,
I'll take Michelle out for you.
Thank you, Eileen. No, we're going to celebrate. We're going to go to dinner before Julian and I go to the. Oh, and speaking of that, I gotta run the vacation times by you because I might have been a little erroneous.
No,
What?
no.
Yeah.
Well, we've already made plans.
Hang on a minute.
No.
No.
Hang on. I just need to clarify. I might have.
Huh?
Hang on. I might have given you some bad information on the vacation.
Okay.
Hold on.
How bad could it be?
Let me finish with calls. Eileen, thanks for the call. Let me grab Marie in Seminole. A few more calls. We got to move on. Hi, Marie. Welcome to the MJ Morning Show. Bad driving
Hi.
guy. What's your story?
Okay, so actually he was wonderful. Everybody loved him. It was great. He was fine in town driving. It was just when you got him on the highway, he turned into a complete maniac. And if somebody was in the left-hand lane, that was like his pet peeve. Are you there? Hello?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
we're listening.
I'm riveted.
His pet peeve. So if somebody's driving slow in the passing lane, he would literally turn into a lunatic. And
What do you like? Crawl up on their butt like 3 feet from their bumper at 70 miles an hour?
Right up in their face, and his hands were going, and he's yelling at them and screaming, and I'm just mortified. But I did end up marrying him.
He's a bad boy.
And did you remain married? Did you stay married to this maniac?
No, of course. No, we divorced, of course, later.
And how long did it take for you to divorce the
I
guy?
tell you, because it was too embarrassing how long I stayed. So,
How long did you stay? Come on, tell me.
25 years.
It took me 25 years to figure it out. And you're telling me, and the guy was, when you were married, he was a total maniac still?
No, he was never abusive to me.
No. He was a total maniac behind the wheel during the whole marriage?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We fought about it all the time.
Wow.
Only on trips. On the highway, he was fine in town driving.
What?
And, yeah.
Well,
And
sometimes
everybody
guys
loved
grow
him.
out of that. Like
No,
you could have.
He didn't.
Right.
Well,
So,
listen,
yeah.
the male brain, you know what they say, that the male brain is not like fully developed. The reasoning part of the brain doesn't get fully developed until like mid to late 20s. So, hey, thanks for the call, Marie. Have a great one.
Okay.
All right, let me grab one more on this. We'll hit St. Pete. Bonnie, I think Bonnie's called us before. Bonnie, welcome to the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hi, I'm okay. How are you?
Good.
I don't think I asked, but
Hi, Bonnie.
That's kind of standard with me.
Okay. Hey, Bonnie, welcome to the show. Thanks for listening. All right, so you want to weigh in on the bad driver guys?
I do. It's my girlfriend's boyfriend. Wonderful, wonderful man. Kind, considerate, funny, pleasant, the whole shebang. He can't drive for crap. He's, the gas, going fast, going down, in and out of the lane. It's just absolutely horrible. But he's our designated driver.
Oh, great. Your designated driver is is a terrible driver.
He's 90 years old, but,
Hold on, what? Hold on, what?
he's 90.
What is
Whoa,
happening?
hold on. What is going on here? The guy is 90 years old?
Yeah.
What are
Other than
Wait a minute. How old is your girlfriend?
She's 85.
What the heck?
What's
I
happening?
know.
The Golden
And
Girls.
Oh,
They're the cutest couple. They are just the cutest couple.
Unbelievable. He shouldn't have his license. 90. Thanks for the call, Bonnie.
Drive you.
Man, I tell you what. Again, our demographics from 8 to 85. We got a huge demographic spread on this program.